You check your phone. Nothing. You scroll through social media and see groups of people laughing, drinking, connecting, and you feel a cold, heavy weight in your chest, a specific kind of silence. Society tells you this silence is a symptom. It tells you that if you are alone, you are broken, that you are antisocial, that you have failed the fundamental test of being human. They call you a loner, an outcast, a failure, but they are wrong. What if I told you that your solitude is not a defect, but a defense mechanism? What if the reason you have few or no friends isn't because you can't connect, but because your psychology is wired to reject the artificial? There is a concept in evolutionary psychology called the apex paradox. It states that as an organism becomes more specialized, more efficient, and more dangerous, its circle naturally shrinks. The sheep herds, the lion prides, but the tiger walks alone. If you are watching this, you have likely felt out of place your entire life. You have tried to fit in, you have tried to wear the mask, but it never fits. It slides off. You are here because you suspect that there is something fundamentally different about the way your mind processes the world. You are right. Today, we are going to dissect the 7 rare traits found in people who walk alone. These are not personality quirks. These are evolutionary adaptations. By the end of this video, you will understand why your circle is small, why your standards are terrifying to average people, and why your solitude is actually your greatest weapon. But be warned, this is not for the fragile. We are going to destroy the victim mentality you've been carrying. We are going to look into the mirror, and you might be scared of what stares back. Trait 1. Hyper-acute pattern recognition. Most people sleepwalk through their interactions. They listen to words. I love you. I support you. We're friends. They take these words at face value because it is comfortable. It is easy. You don't. You can't. If you have no friends, it is likely because you suffer from or are gifted with hyperacute pattern recognition. Your brain does not listen to what people say. It analyzes what they do. It tracks micro-expressions, tonal shifts, and timing delays. Psychologists call this thin slicing, the ability to find patterns in events based only on narrow windows of experience. When someone compliments you, but their eyes don't crinkle at the corners, you see the envy. When someone agrees with you, but their voice pitch rises slightly, you hear the deception. You see the shadow behind the mask. For the average person, a social gathering is a fun exchange of energy. For you, it is a deafening, chaotic stream of data. You are watching people pretend. You are watching them suppress their true nature to fit into the social hierarchy. And because you see the performance, you cannot participate in it. It feels like acting in a play where everyone knows the lines, but you. Or worse, you know the lines, but you refuse to say them because they are lies. This makes you dangerous to be around. People who live in denial hate those who see the truth. When you are in a group, you often stay silent, not because you are shy, but because you are observing, and people feel your observation. It makes them uneasy. They sense that you see through their persona. They will call you judgy. They will call you intense. They will call you hard to read. What they really mean is, you are a mirror, and I don't like my reflection. If you have lost friends, ask yourself, did you lose them, or did you expose them? Did they leave because you were toxic, or did they flee because you were the only one who didn't buy their act? Your solitude is the price you pay for your clarity. You have an allergic reaction to fake behavior. While others can swallow the poison of inauthenticity and smile, your system rejects it immediately. You aren't lonely. You are just incapable of being lied to. Trait 2. Intolerance for social entropy. There is a law in physics called entropy. Systems tend toward disorder, toward randomness, toward noise. Most social interaction is entropy. It is noise. How about this weather? Did you see that game? I hate my boss. It is the recycling of dead information. If you have few friends, it is because you possess a rare trait known as high need for cognition. This isn't just about being smart. it is a biological drive. Research in personality psychology shows that individuals with high openness and high intellect physically suffer when forced to engage in shallow interaction. It drains your dopamine, it spikes your cortisol. Small talk to you is not polite, it is theft. It is the theft of your time. Look at this diagram. Most of the world operates at the bottom. Survival, safety, belonging. Their conversations reflect this. They talk about people, they talk about events. You operate at the top. Self-actualization, transcendence. You want to talk about ideas, you want to talk about the future, you want to decode the universe. When you try to bring these topics up at a dinner party, what happens? Silence, awkward stares. Someone laughs nervously and changes the subject back to something safe. You are viewed as too heavy, too serious. So you have a choice. You can lobotomize yourself, dumb yourself down, pretend to care about the celebrity gossip, pretend to be excited about the mundane, just to have friends. Or you can stay silent. Most people choose the lobotomy. They would rather be surrounded by fools than stand alone with their own thoughts. You chose the silence. This is not arrogance. This is energy economics. You realized long ago that you have a finite amount of mental energy. Spending it on social entropy feels like burning money. You crave the deep dive. You want the 3 a.m. conversation about the nature of consciousness, the strategy of war, the meaning of death. And because 99% of people are terrified of those depths, 99% of people cannot be your friend. You are a deep sea diver in a world of wading pools. Do not apologize for your depth. The ocean does not apologize for being deep just because the swimmer is afraid of the bottom. Trait 3. The autoimmune response to control. Let's go darker. There is a trait that is often diagnosed as oppositional defiant disorder in children, but in adults, if channeled correctly, it is the trait of the genius. It is the refusal to submit to arbitrary authority. Most friendship circles are not democracies. They are tyrannies. They are micro-cults. They have unwritten rules. We hate this person, so you must hate them too. We believe this political view, so you must believe it too. We are going out tonight, so you must come too. This is the herd instinct, the biological urge to conform to stay safe. The Ash conformity experiments proved that 75% of people will agree with an obvious lie just to fit in with the group. If the group says the short line is the long line, the individual will agree. You are in the 25%. You are the glitch in the matrix. When a social circle demands your compliance, your brain triggers a threat response. You don't feel safe in the herd. You feel suffocated. You have a high degree of autonomy. You cannot respect a person just because they are popular. You cannot agree with an idea just because it is trending. You require logic. You require proof. This makes you a bad friend to narcissists. Narcissists collect friends like accessories. They want entourage members who nod and clap. You don't nod. You ask, why? And why is the most dangerous word you can speak to a fragile ego. Because you cannot be controlled, you are often cast out. Groups will label you difficult or arrogant. They will try to exile you to break you. They hope that the pain of loneliness will force you to come crawling back, ready to obey. But this is where you confuse them. You don't crawl back. You thrive. You use the exile to build. This trait, this inability to be a sheep, is why you are alone. But it is also why you are free. While they are trapped in a web of social obligations, debt, and lies, you are walking your own path. You have traded popularity for sovereignty. And sovereignty is a lonely kingdom, but it is the only one worth ruling. Trait 4. The architect's obsession. Let's talk about resources. Most people treat their lives like a waiting room. They are waiting for the weekend, waiting for the vacation, waiting for retirement. They use friends to kill time. You feel the passing of time like a physical wound. You are not here to wait. You are here to build. Whether it is a business, a body of art, a philosophy, or your own physique, you are possessed by a vision of what you could become. This is the architect trait. And here is the brutal truth about building something great. It requires a monomaniacal focus. Neuroscience shows us that the brain has two primary modes. The default mode network, socializing, daydreaming, past/future thinking, and the task positive network, deep focus, flow state, execution. They are anti-correlated. When one is on, the other is off. You cannot build an empire and maintain a thriving social life simultaneously. You just can't. History is filled with outliers who had few friends. Tesla, Michelangelo, Newton. They weren't crying about it. They were too busy decoding the laws of the universe. You have likely realized that every hour you spend in a bar listening to someone complain about their ex is an hour you stole from your future self. So you started saying no to the drinks, no to the parties, no to the hanging out. And when you say no enough times, the invitations stop coming. Good. This is the filtration system working. You are clearing the construction site. You are putting up the do not disturb sign on your life. People take this personally. They think you are better than them. You don't think you are better. You just know you have work to do. You are playing a zero-sum game with your attention. If you have no friends, it might be because you are currently in a metamorphosis phase. The caterpillar dissolves completely inside the cocoon. It has no friends in there. It has no social life. It is total destruction and reconstruction. If you are in that phase, solitude is not a burden. It is a biological necessity. Do not let the world drag you out of your cocoon before you have your wings. They will crush you. Stay in the dark. Do the work. The friends you lose during your building phase were never going to fit in your skyscraper anyway. Pause. Take a breath. I can feel your resistance. There is a voice in your head saying, but humans are social animals. We need connection. Am I just coping? Am I just telling myself this to feel better? That is a valid question. And the answer is, yes, we need connection. But you are starving because you are looking for steak in a candy store. You don't need more connection. You need rare connection. And because you are rare, the statistical probability of you finding your match is low. That is simply math. If you are in the top 1% of intellect, ambition, or awareness, you will only resonate with 1% of the population. That means in a room of 100 people, 99 will bore you, and you will scare them. This leads us to the fifth trait, the one that explains why your very presence triggers insecurity in others. This is where it gets psychological. This is where we enter the shadow. Trait 5, the unconscious mirror. Have you ever walked into a room, said nothing, and felt people dislike you immediately? Have you ever been targeted by a bully or a manipulator for no apparent reason? It's not because you are weak, it's because you are a screen. People with high self-awareness and low social need act as a blank screen upon which others project their own demons. This is the Jungian concept of the shadow. When a person who is fake, insecure, and desperate for approval meets you, someone who is quiet, contained, and self-sufficient, they do not see you. They see the part of themselves they are ashamed of. They see their own lack of courage. Your silence makes them hear their own internal noise louder. Your independence mocks their dependency. You become a walking reminder of what they are not. And because the human ego cannot handle shame, it converts that shame into aggression. They attack you to destroy the mirror. If you have no friends, it is often because you refuse to help people hide from themselves. Most friendships are codependent delusions. I'll tell you you're right if you tell me I'm pretty. I'll validate your victimhood if you validate mine. It is a trade agreement of lies. You don't sign the treaty. When someone complains about a problem they created, you don't say, poor you. You ask, how are you going to fix it? You break the contract. And when you break the contract of mutual delusion, you become the villain. Understand this. Being the villain in a loser's story is a compliment. It means you have retained your reality. You are not lonely because you are unlikable. You are isolated because you are undeniable. You force people to face reality, and most people would rather die than face reality. Trait 6. Temporal displacement. We live in a world obsessed with the now. Hedonism, instant gratification, the next scroll, the next drink. The herd lives in the immediate present. You likely live in the future. This is a trait found in high-level strategists, visionaries, and, ironically, the chronically anxious. You are constantly simulating future timelines. You see cause and effect miles before anyone else. When your friends say, "Let's just have fun tonight. Don't worry about tomorrow," your brain screams, "Tomorrow is the only thing that matters." You see the consequences. You see that the habit they are building today leads to the divorce in 10 years. You see that the business idea they are mocking is the one that will change the world. You are speaking a different language. This is temporal displacement. You are mentally living 5, 10, 20 years ahead of your peers. This makes connection nearly impossible. How can you connect with someone who is worried about a microdrama at work when you are worried about the trajectory of your life, the economy, or the human species? It feels like a parent trying to relate to a toddler. You can love the toddler. You can protect the toddler, but you cannot be friends with the toddler. This creates a profound sense of isolation. The isolation of the watchman. You are up on the wall, watching the horizon, while everyone else is sleeping in the city below. They call you paranoid. They call you a buzzkill until the wolf comes. Then, suddenly, they want to be your friend. They want your protection. They want your foresight. But by then, you have usually realized that you cannot save people who refuse to open their eyes. You have to walk alone towards the future, or stay behind and die in the past with them. You chose the future, and the future is a lonely place because no one else has arrived there yet. They want you to care about the party. You care about the outcome. They want you to care about the drama. You care about the destiny. And because you cannot synchronize your clock with theirs, you walk alone. But there is one final trait, the rarest of them all, the one that makes you not just misunderstood, but feared. Trait 7, the autotelic personality, the internal engine. Most human beings are external combustion engines. To run, they need fuel from the outside. They need compliments. They need attention. They need validation. They need someone to witness their existence to feel real. If you leave an average person alone in a room for 3 days with no phone and no contact, they unravel, they hallucinate. Their ego dissolves because it has no reflection to latch onto. You are different. You are a nuclear engine. Your fuel source is internal. Psychology defines the autotelic personality as someone who finds purpose and satisfaction within the activity itself, not in the external reward. You don't do things for the applause. You do them because you must. You read because you need to know. You lift because you need to be strong. You create because the idea is burning a hole in your mind. This makes you immune to the greatest weapon society has, social leverage. Think about it. How does society control people? Through the fear of exclusion. If you don't do what we say, we won't like you. If you don't agree with us, you can't sit at our table. This threat works on 99% of people because they are terrified of starvation. Starvation of validation. But what happens when they try this on you? They say, "We will ignore you." And you say, "Good, I have books to read. I have work to do." They say, "You will be alone." And you say, "I prefer it." This terrifies them. A person who does not need others is a person who cannot be manipulated. You are a glitch in their power dynamic. If you have no friends, it is often because people instinctively realize they have no leverage over you. They cannot bribe you with attention. They cannot punish you with silence. You are self-sustaining. And in a world of parasites, the self-sustaining organism is the enemy. They hate you because you remind them of their own hunger. You remind them that they are slaves to the opinions of others, while you are free. Now, look at the pattern. Combine these traits. The lie detector, you see the truth. The depth addict, you reject the shallow. The sovereign mind, you reject control. The architect, you prioritize the mission. The mirror, you reflect their demons. The visionary, you live in the future. The internal engine, you don't need them. Do you see what creates? It doesn't create a loner. It doesn't create a loser. It creates a king in exile. It creates an apex predator of the mind. The reason you have few or no friends is not because you are broken. It is because you are incompatible with the domestication of the modern human. Society is a farm. It is designed to produce docile, consuming, dependent sheep. School teaches you to repeat. Work teaches you to obey. Media teaches you to envy. Social circles teach you to conform. You failed the training. Your programming rejected the update. And because you refused to become domestic, you were pushed to the fringe. You are the wolf they chased out of the village because you wouldn't wear the collar. And now you are sitting in the cold, looking at the village lights, wondering why you don't fit in. Stop wondering. You don't fit in because you don't belong in a cage. However, I must warn you, there is a danger here, a trap that many people like you fall into. When you are isolated for too long, the mind begins to eat itself. You start to internalize the rejection. You think, maybe they are right. Maybe I am just arrogant. Maybe I am unlovable. You start to soften your edges. You try to lower your standards just to feel the warmth of human contact. You let a project into your life, someone broken, someone toxic, just to have company. Or you go back to the herd, pretending to be stupid, pretending to care about the football game just to silence the void. Do not do this. This is suicide. When a wolf tries to act like a sheep, it doesn't fool the sheep. The sheep are terrified, and the wolf starves to death. If you lower your frequency to match theirs, you will not find connection. You will find interference. You will feel more alone in a room full of people pretending to be someone you are not than you would feel sitting by yourself in total silence. The loneliness of the mask is far heavier than the loneliness of the cave. So what is the solution? How do you live in a world that wasn't made for you? You must stop viewing your solitude as a prison and start viewing it as a laboratory. This is your monk mode. This is your training arc. If you have no friends right now, the universe has given you a gift. It has cleared the board. It has removed the distractions. It has removed the noise. It has given you the one thing every great man and woman in history fought for: time and silence. Do not waste it feeling sorry for yourself. Use it. Here is your protocol. Step 1. The radical acceptance of standards. Stop apologizing for your requirements. If you require depth, loyalty, and intelligence, and you cannot find it, then you starve. You do not eat garbage just because you are hungry. You maintain the standard. Because the moment you lower the standard, you signal to the universe and to your own subconscious that you are willing to accept less. And you will get less. Stand firm in the void. Be willing to walk alone for a year, 5 years, 10 years, if that is what it takes to find the people who actually match your resonance. One ally who understands the war is worth 10,000 civilians who just want to party. Step 2. The signal strategy. You cannot find the others by chasing them. You find them by becoming a beacon. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats. It stands tall and it shines its light. The boats come to it. How do you shine? By building, by speaking your truth, by becoming excellent at your craft. When you become undeniable in your field, when you become articulate in your philosophy, when you become physically and mentally formidable, you emit a signal, a specific frequency, and the other outliers, the other wolves, will see it. They will find you. Your future friends, your tribe, are not in the bar. They are working. They are building. They are hiding in plain sight, just like you. The only way to reach them is to rise to a level where they can see you. Step 3. The mask of sanity. This is Machiavelli's lesson. While you are waiting for your tribe, you must survive in the village. Do not go around telling everyone you are an apex predator. Do not tell your co-workers you think they are entropy. That is socially suicidal. Learn to wear the mask lightly. Be polite. Be kind. Use small talk as a tool, not a lifestyle. View social interaction as spycraft. You are an undercover agent. You smile, you nod, you ask about their weekend. You blend in. But you never forget that it is a disguise. You never let the mask fuse to your face. Keep your inner world secret. Share your true thoughts only with those who have earned the clearance level to hear them. For everyone else, give them the weather. Give them the sports. Give them what they can handle. Protect your power by hiding it. Let's be honest about the cost. This path is hard. The outlier path is not the path of happiness. It is the path of meaning. Happiness is cheap. You can buy happiness with a bottle of wine and a mediocre conversation. Meaning is expensive. Meaning costs you everything. It costs you the comfort of the herd. It costs you the illusion of safety. But the payoff is a life that is actually yours. Most people die without ever having lived. They lived a script written by their parents, their teachers, and their friends. They die surrounded by people, but they die strangers to themselves. You might walk alone. You might endure cold nights. But when you look in the mirror, you see a human being, not a reflection of a reflection. You possess your own mind. You possess your own soul. And that is a luxury that money cannot buy. Solitude is the tax you pay for freedom. And if you are willing to pay it, you become something the world has almost forgotten. A sovereign individual. Look at your life right now. Look at the empty chair across from you. It is not empty. It is reserved. It is reserved for loyalty. It is reserved for truth. It is reserved for the rare few who can meet you at the summit. Until they arrive, do not fill it with ghosts. Do not fill it with noise. Honor the empty chair. Honor the silence. Because in that silence, you are building the capacity to hold a conversation that can change the world. You are not lonely. You are simply the first one at the meeting point. Wait for them. They are coming. But they only come to those who can endure the wait. So, I have a question for you. Now that you know what you are, now that you know that your symptoms are actually strengths, are you going to try to crawl back into the cage? Are you going to try to cut off your own wings just to fit through the door of a house that is too small for you? Or are you going to burn the bridge? Are you going to accept the cold? Because the moment you stop trying to fit in is the moment you start to ascend. But be careful. Ascension makes you visible. And when you rise, you don't just attract allies. You attract enemies. The higher you climb, the stronger the wind. And there are things waiting for you in the dark that I haven't even mentioned yet. Psychological traps that only open up once you accept your power. You think the loneliness is the hard part? No. The loneliness is the easy part. The hard part is what comes next. The hard part is knowing what to do with the power once you have it. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive, uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.